Welcome to CoSpaces, where you can make augmented and virtual reality in the classroom and be able to view it in a variety of environments. The first thing you're going to do is click on the log in, and then it's going to give you a choice. You can log in then with your Google account. So you'll click Google, and then on your account it'll ask you if you're a student or a teacher, and you'll pick student. I'm going to go ahead and log into my account, and it's going to bring mine up. But on yours, you're going to get a code to join the class, just like you do on Google Classroom. So once you type in that code, you'll be entered in the class, and then you can begin working in CoSpaces. To start, you can create a space. And in this case, you're going to create a 3D environment, and it gives you a large grid. From here, you have a library of objects that you can use, from characters to animals, just regular items, but you probably want to start with the building blocks. I use brick walls to start building with. To resize your walls, you can use the arrow keys. To make it thicker, you pull out from the side. To move it up and down, you use that key. To rotate, and then you can choose the direction of the rotation. And then you can also use that to move it. So you can actually move it along a particular axis. I have several options. If I right click on it, I can adjust the material. So I'm going to pick a log one in this case. We'll talk about how you can code it, how you can use some of these other features as well. You can also apply physics to some blocks. I can give it a bounciness and a friction if that makes sense to do so. It wouldn't make sense for a wall. One thing to note, if you're in like rotation mode, just click it again to get out of it. You also have a grid, and you can change the size of that grid. And I like to use snap to grid so that the pieces will snap to where I want them. If you're moving something very precisely, you might want to turn that off. So if I'm building this cabin and I want a wall that's exactly the same size, I can just right click on that wall and duplicate, and then move that to where I want it to be. I could duplicate again, rotate it 90 degrees, and move that wall where I want it, and adjust it until I get it to be how I want the walls to be. Don't forget to leave space for doors. Can't really walk through walls, but I can show you a different way to do your doors. Just to leave the doorways open for now. And a couple of other things. Something you can do once you get it together is lock something in place. So if you right click it and click lock, it's not going to move anymore. And that can be very helpful so that things don't get placed where you don't want them. You can also click and shift click on other things, right click and create them as a group, so that way if you move them or resize them, they go together as a group. So you can see I started on this example, and I had grouped these together and made a duplicate for this side, because this side of the dog trot is going to be a duplicate on this side. And so I actually can move this section, and after I get finished furnishing it, then I will move the walls back. It's just easier to put things in there without having the walls. Now I've also added some objects that aren't actually in the CoSpaces library. For example, this spinning wheel. Now, where did I get that? Well, I actually went to Thingiverse, and you can search it by typing in what you want, and then I found this one online, and I downloaded the files. You can drag in .stl or .obj files to CoSpaces. I can show that in another video. I did the same thing for the barrel, although the table and the chair were part of CoSpaces already. Some other things to think about are you can upload images and audio files and other three-dimensional models in this tool. And then if you'll notice, I put a sign here. It says click to listen, and if I click on that, it will play an audio recording that I uploaded earlier. Let me show you uploading an image, and I'm going to click upload and choose a picture of Stephen F. Austin in this case. and it came in, and I'm going to bring it in. I can rotate it, and then one of the things, and since I don't have that in here right now, I will scoot this around here. So I'm going to attach it to this wall. And how do I do that? I'm going to right click and click attach, and it shows me some little dots. Well, I want it on that wall, and now it's placed. So since this is a museum, it might also be nice to put some text beside that picture to explain what it is. Or you could do an audio recording as well. So to add text next to it, I would go to my library and use the text panel and drag it out and put it on the wall next to there. You can right click and adjust the text, adjust the size of the sign so that it will be readable. And finally, once you get it all how you want it to be, and of course this is incomplete, then I can press play and start to walk through what I have created. So I can walk through and take a look over there, and I can go in this building. And so you can take a virtual tour of what you've created. Now this also works in the VR goggles, as well as we can view it on the Merge Cube or in the Vive. So that's the basics. When you get ready to make things interactive and you want to know how to code things, I can show you. I'll give you a preview real quick. You click code up here, and you can see I have put in code when you click the spinning wheel audio sign, then it will play the little recording that I made with Vocaroo and downloaded to my computer. But that's for another video. Thanks for watching. A couple of other things I meant to mention. One is the camera. You can move it up or down, and remember, when you're walking in virtual reality, this is going to be the player. So you can adjust various things about the camera. 3 is a good number for speed. Don't make it any faster, or people can get ill when they're watching what you have created. So you can experiment with these movements, but pretty much you want to stay with walk and turn on collision so that if you really walk into a wall, you really walk into a wall. The other thing is that in the library you can have people, and so there's my person, and I can right click on him, and a lot of them come with animations. So in this case I'm going to say that he is pointing at something, and you can see that he is actually moving, and let's rotate him around so you can see what he looks like. Now maybe someday they'll have a change of costume, but they don't for now. The only thing you can do is change a little bit of their shirt color and their overalls and such like that. So you can play with those, with the looks a little bit. That's about all you can do with your character. And then you can add speech bubbles that they are saying something as well. And you can program them to do things. You can change their animations if you want to program them to do something if you click on them. So that's all I wanted to share.